Hi, my name is Ethan Dickerson, and I just graduated high school, and I am currently enrolled in the college-level course called Elements of Intercultural Communication at Grand Canyon University. After reading the article on the Nasarima culture, I was left with a wide range of emotions, confusion, curiosity, even a little bit of disbelief. The reading led me to ask myself several questions. How did these rituals come to be accepted as normal? Why did these cultures develop such an intense view of the human body? As I read, I found myself stopping to reread certain parts just to process what I had seen. The Nasarima people, according to the article, have a unique and extremely ritualistic way of living. One of the first things that stood out to me was their belief of the human body is naturally dirty, unattractive, and full of disease. In their culture, the body is something that must be constantly treated, purified, and even punished. The number of rituals they practice is extensive, and many of them would seem bizarre or even disturbing to someone from modern America culture. One of the most striking aspects of Nasarima life is the presence of shrine rooms in nearly every household. These rooms are built into the walls of their homes and are used for private bodily rituals. Inside these shrine rooms, they store sacred objects in a special box or chest, things they use regularly for their rituals. These practices reminded me of how in our culture we may also have private areas for grooming, but we don't consider them sacred or spiritual the way the Nasarima do. Another surprising element of their culture is the process of medicine men, who are seen as some sort of powerful figure in society. The people rely on these medicine men whenever something in their lives go wrong, believing that they have the ability to erase mistakes or cure both physical and spiritual illnesses. It's interesting to compare that to how in America we also have specialists like doctors, but we usually view them through a scientific lens rather than a spiritual or magical one. One ritual that really stuck with me was that of the holy mouth men. In this culture, oral hygiene is taken to a level that borders a religious devotion. They believe that without undergoing these painful and frequent rituals involving the mouth, their teeth would fall out, their gums would bleed, and they would be socially rejected. What shocked me the most was the level of fear they had surrounding these consequences. It shows how rituals, no matter how strange, can be deeply rooted in culture's values and beliefs. Reading about the Nasarima made me reflect more about our own culture, American culture, and just how much it has changed over time. In today's society, we place a lot of importance on social interaction, personal space, time management, and even first impressions. When meeting someone new, we often offer a handshake, a wave, or sometimes even a hug, depending on the relationship. These actions may seem automatic to us, but they're actually learned behaviors and reflect cultural norms. Americans also place high value on communication. We tend to engage in small talk, and we're comfortable striking up conversations with strangers in casual settings, like in line at a coffee shop or waiting at a bus stop. This willingness to connect with others shows how openness is part of our cultural identity. In contrast, some cultures might view this behavior as invasive or impolite. Additionally, the concept of personal space is another big part of American culture. We tend to stand at a certain distance from others when talking, and this space varies depending on our relationship with the person. If someone stands too close, we might feel uncomfortable, even if they mean no harm. This invisible boundary is part of our social etiquette that not all cultures share. Another major part of American culture is our emphasis on holidays and traditions. While we might not call these rituals, they serve as a similar purpose. They bring people together, express values, and are repeated year after year. Major holidays like Christmas, Thanksgiving, Independence Day, and even Halloween are celebrated across the country, though individual families may have their own unique ways of celebrating. In addition to national holidays, we have cultural celebrations like Pride Month, Black History Month, and Hispanic Heritage Month. These events highlight diversity in America and encourage learning and appreciation for different cultural backgrounds. It's part of what makes American culture complex and inclusive. Although many traditions have remained consistent over the years, like Thanksgiving dinners or fireworks on the 4th of July, other aspects of our culture have evolved. Take music festivals, for example. What started as niche gatherings have now turned into mainstream events, drawing thousands of people from across the country. Technology has also influenced our culture by changing how we connect, communicate, and even celebrate holidays. A major cultural shift occurred during the COVID-19 pandemic. This period drastically changed how Americans lived their daily lives. Schools closed, workplaces went remote, and social gatherings weren't limited or entirely canceled. People had to rely on technology and social media, not just for entertainment, but for education, work, and maintaining relationships. This period in time reshaped many of our cultural norms. During this time, new rituals formed, like virtual birthday parties, Zoom weddings, and drive-by celebrations. While these may have seemed temporary, they showed how adaptable culture really is. Even as the world began to return to normal, some of these new practices stuck around, becoming part of our new normal. Jamie Noder, a well-known author and speaker on organizational culture, once said that culture change doesn't have a clear beginning or end. It's something that's constantly happening. I completely agree with this idea. Culture is always evolving as new generations grow up with different experiences, values, and worldviews. In conclusion, learning about the Nasarima has made me more aware of how culture influences every part of our lives, even things we consider normal or routine. It reminded me that may seem strange or unnecessary to one group can be completely normal and meaningful to another. Understanding different cultures not only broadens our perspective, but also helps us grow in empathy, tolerance, and awareness. Culture is not just something that we learn about in a textbook. It's something we live every single day. And the more we understand it, the better equipped we are to interact with the diverse world around us.